What is going on, you lot? It's Middi, and yes, we're going to be talking about the new stuff that's coming out for Call of Duty Vanguards Multiplayer, such as the weapons, the perks, and I'm going to let you know why it's a little bit important. Firstly, these weapons and perks and, field upgrades I'm going to show you will more or less likely be implemented into Warzone. They're going to do the whole crossover, kind of like what they did with Cold War with the weapons. I think with the new map coming to Warzone, they're going to change quite a lot of things. So I'll be going over all of the Vanguard, multiplayer stuff such as the kill streaks, the weapons, and then hopefully it gives you an idea of what's actually to come within Warzone as well. But let's just start right off the bat with this. So first thing is the weapons that are coming to the game. There's a few that we saw in Vanguard's Champion Hill that I've done videos on, but there's also some new ones that we've not actually seen yet. We're going to start with the assault rifles, and the first one is the STG44, which was in Champions Hill. Next, we've got the ITRA Burst, which is going to be in its own little rendition of, like an M16. Then we've got the bar, which I've also done some gameplay on. Was quite overpowered if you can build it right. Then we've got the NZ41, and it says that it fires heavy rounds but high recoil, deals high close range damage, or used at a distance with controlled burst. And there's a lot of customization that's going on with these weapons. You can now have 10 attachments for your gun, and there's a lot that you can change around with it. You've got like magazine types, you've got like a caliber of ammunition that you can actually put on a gun now. The higher the caliber, the more damage that it's going to do, but then you're going to have like more recoil that's going to come with it, and it's probably slower rate of fire. So there is going to be a lot of customization that's going on with it. The next AR is the Volk. It says that it's a quick and mobile, the lightest automatic rifle, allowing for great movement but with low control. Basically sounds like a SMG. But for the submachine guns, we've got the M1928 Thompson. Extra ammo allows for continuous firing and good handling. Rate of fire are offset by lower mobility and longer reloads. Using this gun in Champion Hill, it seemed moderately reliable. It's not one of my favorite guns to use. I know a lot of you guys actually enjoy using it. Then you've got the Sten SMG, which has been in a few Call of Duty games. This highly mobile SMG is light and quick to use with low damage output and control. Not really my favorite things. It's more on the lower end type of weapon where it's just going to have low recoil and barely do any damage. And lastly on my list, we've got the MP-40, which is my favorite gun to use in the game. It's been my favorite to use all the way since World at War, but using it in Champions Hill was a really reliable weapon to use. For the shotgun list, we've got the Revolving Shotgun, which was also shown in the campaign. It says that the shotgun has surprisingly long range, but typically takes 2 shots to kill and reloads very slowly. I see already that this will be the better shotgun than the other one straight away, but the other one is the auto-loading shotgun, and it's a semi-auto that fires as fast as you can pull the trigger. Very short range and will often require many hits to land a kill. It's going to be that kind of shotgun that's going to be really overpowered in very close situations. Otherwise, I'll probably just go for the revolving shotgun. Sounds more OP just because it's got better range on it. For the LMGs, we've got 3. The first one is going to be the MG42. This machine gun is excellent for continuous firing to suppress or punish enemy movement, which is kind of a new feature in the game, but it struggles at long range. Now, when I used this thing in Vanguard's Champions Hill, once I kind of upgraded it, the recoil control was maxed on it, and it was pretty insane. The gun just didn't even move, and that was while standing up with it. The second LMG is the DP27, and I preferred this thing in Vanguard. Higher damage and accuracy allows for long range kills when fired in bursts. Decent control for full auto use at short to medium range. The DP is just a beastly weapon, and once you max this thing out in Vanguard, 100% is going to be a definitely meta weapon to use, either in multiplayer or Warzone. Lastly, we've got the Bren. This gun has extreme damage and accuracy for long range, kills with short bursts, but very high recoil and low mobility. And by the way, using this in previous Call of Duty games, the iron sight absolutely sucks on it. For the marksman rifles, we've got the classic M1 Garand. It says that this can put down enemies with 2 well-placed shots to either mid or long range, which already sounds pretty broken considering how fast you can fire this gun. I can imagine it's going to be a beastly marksman rifle to actually use in the game. For the snipers, we've got the 3-line rifle. The heaviest weapon delivers 1-hit kills almost anywhere on the body at perfect accuracy, but particularly slow to move or use. When I used it in Champions Hill, the ADS was horrible. I'm sure you can obviously customize this to decent attachments on it to increase the higher ADS on it, but I wasn't actually too much of a fan of it. I mean, look, we've got the Kar98 that's there, which we all know and love. Already, I'd probably pick the Kar98 over this thing. For the secondaries, we've got handguns, we've got the machine pistol, the Rat, and the 1911. For the launchers, we've got the M1 bazooka. This shoulder-fired launcher fires 60mm explosive rounds. Great for vehicle damage, but slow to reload, and make sure no one's standing behind you when it's fired. I can only imagine people are going to do 180s now and try and, go right up to someone and just do a 180 rocket blast off them and just try and kill them. Sounds toxic. If you can team kill people with it, yeah, it's already toxic. The other launcher is going to be the Panzerschreck, and lastly the melee weapon is just the standard knife we've got. That's every gun in Vanguard so far, but this could be changed on its actual release. And if you guys are liking the content so far, it'd be awesome if you guys could leave a like on the video and comment your thoughts on the Vanguard content that I'm showing you. I'd like to know anyway. Going for the lethals now, we've got the frag grenade, we've got the gammon bomb, which is basically a grenade that detonates on impact, Molotovs, demolition charge, which says here it's the exact same thing as a C4, thermite, and then we've got the throwing knife. Now you see how these lethals are pretty much the same as everything that's in Warzone. And it got me thinking, I feel like when the new Warzone map comes out, everything's going to change the lethals, like how they look. So like the C4 is going to be exactly the same, but just reskinned. So it's going to look like, instead of being called a C4, it's going to be called a demolition charge. Kind of fits along with, you know, Warzone's theme, I guess. Tacticals, we've got smoke, stun grenade, MKB gas grenades, the stim, and the S-44, which is a World War II bouncing Betty, pretty much. The fact that it's on tacticals for once, I mean, that's never been a thing, as a tactical means, you know, everyone's going to be planting these around instead of using stunts. For the field upgrades, we've got the supply box. You lot know this. Deploy the ammo box, resupply it, and it explodes when shot at. We've got armor plate, so you can equip body armor. We've got the Goliath, which is a new field upgrade, which we see in a multiplayer trailer. A small remote controlled bomb on tracks. Controllable for 30 seconds, after which it's going to self-destruct, but can be detonated early. Basically, a RCXD, but probably sounds a little bit slower and harder to control. More or less, that is what it sounds like. Then we've got the field mic, which is the same as Cold War. It just shows you enemy movement on the minimap. And lastly, everyone's favourite, which is dead silence. Footsteps are silenced and kills refresh the duration. So it sounds like they're more or less the field upgrades are going to kind of stay the same. And they're probably going to add a few others. As for the perks now, which I feel like a lot of you do want to know, on perk 1's list we've got Ghost, which is new because normally it was on perk 2, and like I've mentioned, I feel like they're going to change all this over with Warzone and, you know, completely change up the perks on how they are, and the meta is going to change massively. For Ghost, undetected while moving by spy planes and field mics, reduce the effectiveness of local informants. Then you've got Fortified, which is a new perk, reduce damage and health regen delay from explosives, damage reduction increased while mounted, crouched, or prone, which is pretty interesting because if you're someone who drop shots and you're going to take reduced damage because of it, that already shows that it's probably going to be more favorable over Ghost, especially for the more kind of sweaty players. Next, we've got Low Profile, which is also a new perk, training in how to avoid detection by the enemy, immune to the effects of piercing vision. Then lastly, we've got Survival Training, which is maximize resistance to stun effects and immune to gas. On the perk 2 list, we've got High Alert, which you lot already know about. Then we've got a new perk called Radar. Enemies appear on your minimap when they fire an unsilenced weapon. I mean, everyone rolls with suppressors anyway, and if someone's shooting an unsilenced weapon, you're probably going to hear them and get an idea where they are anyway. So I'm not sure if I'll take it over, unless you've got ballsy people that don't use silencers on a gun. The next, we've got Foward Intel, which is more of a multiplayer perk in Cold War. This was in there as well. You can see the indicators for enemy reinforcements on your minimap, and the minimap is larger. Then we've got the perk that we already know, which is Tracker. We can see enemies' footsteps when they're running. Now onto the last perk 3 slot, we've got Demolition, extra lethal on spawn, and those lethals display an indicator showing the path of the lethal. Sounds like a perk that, you know, who's going to use it? Like, we're all going to use this in multiplayer or whatever else when we're not high enough level to use anything else. That's pretty much it. Then we've got Double Time, which is now on a perk 3, which is pretty interesting. I can see that a lot of people are going to be using this. And the next perk is basically restocked. I mean, it says it's going to restock your tactical equipment every 30 seconds, which is quite overpowered. I mean, especially for people, I mean, restocked already is pretty overpowered. You know, and the fact that I think a lot of people don't use it because Ghost is on the perk 2 slot right now. But having restocked means unlimited stuns, and you guys know about stuns. You stun someone, more or less of the time, you're going to kill them. And then lastly, we've got Overkill, which is carry 2 primary weapons. I mean, if they're putting Overkill perk 3 in Warzone, already that sounds like, you know, everyone's going to have this. Think about it, 2 weapons or perk 3 slot. It's kind of crazy. Now we've got the first look at the Warzone map that's going to be coming out, called the Pacific. Already we can see that this map is going to be situated on an island. Tons of uphill terrain. The next shot is in the mountains, so it does look like it's going to be pretty big, to be honest with you. And I'm actually kind of excited for it. It looks a lot more colourful compared to the current Warzone map we've got. Then we've got this next point of interest, which kind of looks like a salt mine, a place where we can kind of move on that bridge all the way uphill if you're kind of stuck at the bottom. Then we've got this forest type landscape. I can already imagine there's going to be bush campers in areas like these. I mean, look at it. Then we've got some caves. I bet there's going to be a few Easter eggs and secrets hidden around this map. Got a waterfall which kind of looks like a cave entrance on the bottom left side. Then it just suddenly kind of changes to this scene of like an American theater, and I can imagine that this is going to be quite a diverse map. You know, on one side we've got a jungle area, the next we've got mountains, Then we've got, you know, the whole sort of secret cave bit. And then we've just got this random theater, which kind of could be something similar to Downtown in a way. But more or less, that's the new look on the Warzone map when it comes out. I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think they're going to keep everything in the same kind of place? Like, imagine where Downtown is on the current Warzone map. They're just going to replace it with what you can currently see here, like the theater, you know, and they're going to do it like that. I am curious. But boys, more or less, that is the stuff that's going to be coming to Warzone and Vanguard's multiplayer very soon. The beta is going to be released in a few days' time. Let me know what you lot think about it. And as always, I'll be covering Vanguard and Warzone content and anything new that comes out. So as always, make sure you guys are subscribed, and I will see you lot later.